Kia ora tātou, welcome to this video where we will look at how to name alkanes and haloalkanes. The first thing that we need to learn when we're naming organic compounds is how to name the number of carbon atoms that we have in an organic compound. So the words that we use are meth, eth, prop, bute, pent, hex, hept and oct. The best way to learn this, in my opinion, is to just have this written down next to you, and as you're practicing naming organic compounds, referring back to these, and over time you will learn the names. So it just takes a bit of time and then it becomes second nature. So an organic compound could look something like this. I've drawn two examples of the same organic compound. Here we have the condensed structural formula. So this is where you see the CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. And this is the structural formula where we're showing more deliberately the bonds between the carbon atoms and the hydrogen atoms. These are showing the exact same things, but as you can, as is indicated by the word condensed, this one is much easier to write, takes up a lot less space, but often you'll see things written as the structural formula because that gives that just that little bit more information and is probably a little bit easier to interpret. So I will be using both of these interchangeably. So the first molecule that we'll look at how to name is this one here. So we've got 4 carbon atoms in a row. Let's name this one first before we get to a branched alkane. So this one's got 4 carbon atoms, so that takes the name bute. So we use bute when we're talking about 4 carbon atoms, and because this is an alkane, so if you've got a list of the different homologous series next to you, that will help with this naming with these naming videos. So this one doesn't have any functional groups, and all of the carbon atoms are fully bonded to other hydrogen atoms, meaning that all of the carbon atoms have got 4 bonds coming from them. There's no double bonds. So quite simply, this has got 4 carbon atoms, so we use the base word bute. And because it's an alkane, we add ane at the end. This one would be exactly the same. If there were 5 carbons, it would be pentane. So that's alkanes, relatively simple once you've got used to that. Then if we take that same butane molecule, so we've got those 4 carbons there. Then this time we've got another CH3 group coming off, so we've got a branched group. So we'd need to be able to name this so that if we were to give this name to somebody else, they would be able to draw the exact same molecule that we're talking about. So to do that, we need to say which carbon this methyl group is coming from. So in this case, it could be we could count from this direction and say that the methyl group is coming from the 3rd carbon atom, or we could count from this direction and say that the methyl group is coming from the 2nd carbon. So what we do is we give the lowest possible number when we're talking about which carbon it comes from. So in this case, the lowest possible number that we can give is 2. 3 would be greater than that. So our naming protocol is that we would say 2 to begin with to show which carbon the methyl group is coming from. Then we put meth. And the reason that we put meth here is because there is just 1 carbon coming off this side chain. And then instead of methane, butane, we indicate that it's a side chain using the word il. And so 2-methyl butane. Notice how I've got a hyphen here between the number and the word meth. So anytime you've got a number and then a word, you use a hyphen. Moving on to this one here, we've got 2 methyl groups coming from this main butane molecule. So to name this one, I'll just give myself some more space, we need to show that there's 2 methyl groups. And so it doesn't actually matter if we count from this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, or this end, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we've still got a methyl group coming from the 2nd carbon and a methyl group coming from the 3rd carbon, no matter which way we look at it. So we need to show that there's 1 methyl group coming off the 2nd carbon, so we go 2, and then we need to show there's a methyl group coming off the 2nd carbon, so we write 3. To separate these numbers, we use a comma. So we use a comma to separate numbers, and then we use a hyphen to separate numbers from a word. So we're going to go 2, 3, and in this case, because there's 2 methyl groups, we're going to write dimethyl. Sorry, I say methyl and methyl. I think the proper way of saying it is methyl, but I'm in the habit of saying methyl. So it'll take me a while to get out of that. 2-methyl butane. We still have the same main chain, so we're still going to call this butane, 2,3-dimethylbutane. Done. And then moving on to haloalkanes. So haloalkanes, we could have anything in group 17 of the periodic table. So it could be bromine, chlorine, fluorine, or iodine. And the way that we name those is that we call them bromo, fluoro, chloro, or iodo. So here I've got 3 bromine atoms, so it's going to be what we say tri-bromo. If we had 4, it would be tetra-bromo. So we're going to have a tri-bromo in our name and a methyl in our name because we still have this side group here. So to name this one, well, first of all, we need to work out which way we're going to count from to show where the carbons are coming from. If we count from the left-hand side, then we've got 1 bromine coming off the first carbon, we've got 2 bromines coming off the second carbon, and we've got a methyl group coming off the third carbon. So we're going to go 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 equals 8. Or if we counted from the other direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got a methyl group coming off the second carbon, plus 2 bromines coming off the third carbon, plus another bromine coming off the fourth carbon. And that tallied together is 6, 9, 12. So if we've got 2 ways that we can count from, and we've got more than one side chain or more than one functional group coming off it, then we need to give the lowest possible number to the direction that we count from. So in this case, we write we take it from the left because that gives us a number of 8. So we're going to show that we've got a 1 bromo or a 1, 2, 2 tri-bromo, and we have a 3 methyl group here, and then we've still got butane. So to do this, it seems intuitive that we would put the bromo first because we have them further to the left. But the reason we are going to put the bromo first, but the reason that is because bro or B comes before M in the alphabet. So we write the things that come before the main butane molecule in alphabetical order. Oh, that didn't work very well. Here we go. So this is the main chain. Anything that comes off there, we write in alphabetical order. So 2, 3, 3, tri-bromo, and then we're going to separate the word from the next number using a hyphen. Tri-bromo 2, I'll move this across a bit, 2 methyl, butane. And that's everything that you need to know so far from what I can remember right now to name alkanes and haloalkanes. In the next video we will look at naming more complex molecules that include suffixes, so we would change the end of that name there. Hope you found this video helpful. Like and subscribe for more organic chemistry videos. See you next time.